What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more AFK Journey, and today we're going up against the Skyclops, doing again a big test to see what heroes are the best here. So, my kind of guess is we might not need someone like Smokey as much in a lineup anymore, just because of the magic charms that are involved. One hero I think that does such a better job in this right now is Koko, because of the shields she can provide once she does get to Mythic Plus, which is something that's really cool. Now, there is something we need to test. Number one, we need to see how our damage dealers do in a triple damage setup. I do need to actually manipulate and change how these heroes are working. Wrong place. Here we go. We do need to add, instead of Koko up here, we need to add someone like Odie to see how that works. Granted, we could try a couple different things here. We could try things like Kruger and all sorts of stuff. There's going to be a lot of different heroes that we could potentially use right here, and we need to see how that works out. I'm going to put Merrily as the swapper. That way, no matter where she goes on the battlefield, she's getting healing. She is typically the squishiest out of all of these damage dealers. So let's see how this turns out. We are going to continue to use the evocation spell just because it seems like most of the time it is the best. However, I do want to go back to the Starshard to see if that is going to be better for all the AoE damage here. The only downside of not running Smokey in this type of team is the fact that his third ultimate does do a ton of AoE damage to those tentacles. We just need to see which ends up being the best version of this team. And you can see right here, as far as healing goes, we don't really seem to need the Odie because of the Koko right now. Beyond that, both Koko and the Rainier have the new magic charms, and the new magic charms add quite a bit of extra healing to this team. It will drop off over time, but it is something that really I think is going to make Smokey's value drop a bit, because you kind of use Smokey in almost every single Dream Realm lineup, and now you don't really need his big AoE healing. He does provide attack buffs and things like that, but is that enough to qualify or really make him worthwhile using, or is using an additional damage dealer going to be the best option? Now, this right here is perfect. We got a brand new record from earlier today. We have all three of our damage dealers set up with the same power. They're all plus 10. They're all Supreme Plus. And you can see Corrin is most definitely out damaging the Odie in this type of setup. Let's do one test just with this same exact lineup right here. We're going to go to the old school Starshard spell because, of course, it does have AoE damage attached to it. And then we can try to see what our damage looks like with a more magic-centric team that we were previously running with Citrana, with Alsa, with Odie, just to see if that's even something that'll work. And you can see right here, Starshard already doing AoE damage to these tentacles, which is good. So that might make this a little bit better of a run. It's going to be weird using a plus 10 artifact instead of a plus 19 artifact that is season exclusive. But hey, it's neither here nor there. Maybe some of the original ones are still going to be the best of the best. It gives haste as well. This artifact is probably one of the best designed artifacts in the game. It doesn't give attack or anything like that, but the fact it gives haste and everything, kind of pretty good. I don't think we could do with dropping Koko in this, though. I think the damage would be too much. However, we could try it. We could try dropping Koko and putting Smokey in instead to see how that turns out. That actually could be a pretty cool strategy to try. Let's do this first. But it's just the survivability from Koko seems pretty insane. I don't know if we're going to beat our damage number. It's going to be close. Definitely going to be close. Yeah, that last round of summons means 22,185,000,000, and you guys can see here. Again, Odie is behind once we get to Endless and all of these. Yeah, that was a little bit behind what we were expecting. So let's try one last change with a triple damage dealer setup that we currently have. We're going to go right here, and let's try dropping you out and putting Smokey in. That way we're getting a better attack buff. Let's see if we need that damage reduction and that shielding, or if his healing in combination with Rainier's healing is going to be enough to get it done. Because remember, the third ultimate from Smokey actually does quite a bit of damage both to the boss and potentially the next round of tentacles. So this is ultimate number 2 for Smokey right here. Let's see if number 3 lines up pretty well with the next round of tentacles, which it should. Oh, he's going to use it right here. So damage is going to ramp up. Hopefully the tentacles come out. Yeah, so that was a decent amount of AoE damage right there. It got through that round of tentacles much faster. And honestly, this is already at almost 19. Wow, yeah, maybe you don't need the Koko anymore. The Koko is the weak link. Or not really the weak link, just the not necessary link, and Smokey's just way back on top here. You can see we are taking quite a bit of damage, but between the Rhynear and the Smokey healing, it seems like it's enough to keep us going. We already have a damage record. This ultimate from the boss still did not kill anybody, so yeah, Smokey is most definitely the way to go. And let's be honest, Rhynear, or sorry, not Rhynear, Corrin and Merrily most definitely are the best damage dealers, again, because we are in Endless. This is something that is very important. You can see Odie is nowhere near close enough. And this is really good, bumping us up a little bit. Now, what could we do instead of that Odie that's in the lineup? Now, back in the day when the game first started, it's been so long, right? We used to use one very specific hero that I still really like, and that is Kruger. Kruger can do damage. He can shed the defense the enemy has, but we are dealing mostly all true damage, so I don't know if this is going to play a role. If anything, we might be better off putting another type of buffer on our team, potentially, and there are a couple options for that as well. So let's try Kruger first, then we're going to try a hero like Thorin, then we're gonna try a hero potentially like Florabelle, and let's just see which ones end up being the best in this situation. Might as well throw him over there on the side just to let him get that initial shield just in case. It probably isn't going to matter, but we do have his mythic plus exclusive leveled up, so he does get some benefit from that. He might be able to tank, and let's see if this physical defense shredding does help. Granted, he's not going to be a huge help on all these tentacles here. Neither is Odie. Technically, Odie usually just keeps going up against the boss because the boss is the poison target. So let's see what happens here. There's the next Smokey ultimate there. I don't know if it's going to catch any of the summons. I don't think it is. Ooh, so because we were much slower killing that wave of, or not tentacles, but, you know, just the summons essentially. Because we were much slower killing it, Smokey did not have a chance really to go and use his ultimate as a positive, but our damage is climbing. We got to get to what, 26 billion? And even if we kill the early wave slower, these little bats or whatever they are, I know I keep saying tentacles, the summons we'll just go with. We got 12 seconds to see if we get 2 billion right here on the boss. Let's see, go ham. Let's see what the damage looks like. It could be close. It's actually better. So running someone like a Kruger is definitely a better option by quite a bit, actually. That is a very significant increase right there, and I like to see that because if we take a look at the scorecard here, he doesn't do nearly as much damage as the Odie did, but it definitely made the other two do more damage, which is nice to see, and it's still bumping us up the list even further. Actually, let's do this. Let's come back out here. Let's come back over to our list. We're going to try a couple different heroes here today. We are going to try Florabelle, and that's because Florabelle's seasonal effect right here increases the damage the target takes by 18%. I haven't quite tested to see if that does stack with the Rhynear. I imagine it does because we've used it in other game modes as well. So let's see how this actually turns out. If it's good, awesome. If it's not, let's move on to a next one. Maybe someone like Thorin, because Thorin does something very similar. It just depends on if Florabelle's bonus damage is going to give us any type of boost. No matter who we put in this slot, basically, we are going to be missing a 4 hero faction bonus. We're always going to be like on the 3. Just because we do have Smokey in this lineup, and the only way we would get it is with the Kruger. So either way, it's going to be a little bit lower. Again, the Smokey ultimate here, the third ultimate with his mythic plus exclusive, not lining up great for the summons. So not the best. I do think Florabelle is going to be a better option on killing these summons though, compared to someone like Kruger. And it's going to be bad. If Kruger can't even be useful in this situation, that's going to feel really bad. Because literally Kruger's one caveat was like, oh, he's good at dealing defensive ripping to the bosses. But now we have so many heroes that just give like flat damage bonuses. It's almost more worthwhile doing it this way. This is going to be a big burst right here. Let's see if we can go from 24 up to 28 right here before the next group of summons. 26. 27. We did get a new record here, so yep, going with the Florabelle looks like the better strategy right now. Granted, there could be a little bit of manipulation based on the way the lineups are running. She does a little bit more damage, and their damage stayed pretty close to the same, so that's interesting. Let's do another combination change. Let's go over to Florabelle. Let's throw the good old Thorin in here, because again, Thorin has some really awesome abilities. Beyond that, his seasonal ability increases the damage dealt to the target by 11% for 3 seconds after dealing damage to the target with normal attacks. It goes up to 18 as well, and that's already on top of the one that he already does. Makes the target receive 13 more damage, so that could be a significant amount. We'll have to see. Again, this doesn't change the aura much at all. That does let us protect someone if we want. Throw like Corrin in behind just to see if maybe the tankiness. The other bonus is Thorin does have some AoE with his ultimate too, if it does line up with the summon, so we'll have to see how that turns out. Let's see how this goes. I'm kind of hoping, yep, the summons did come out, so they did take a little bit of damage from Thorin, it looked like. Again, this first wave of summons definitely goes down the slowest, and Odie now uses his ultimate, which is okay. It's dealing quite a bit of damage, which is still nice. I wish you could like turn off Odie and just let him like continue to just do the damaging aura. That would be so sweet. But sadly, not the case here. So this looks good. If we can find the best team matchup, I then want to go ahead and switch out and try different artifacts to see if anything changes as far as the artifacts go with the last few attempts we have. But so far, this is actually looking like the best setup, I think. Just depends on if this last grouping here can do even more damage. It would be nice to see Thorin useful again. Smokey did go down that time, though. 8 seconds, 6 seconds. Can we break our previous record with Florabelle? Not quite. I do think Florabelle is going to be the better option overall, just because of the way she works, dealing extra damage. You can see he does less damage. Actually, the other two did less damage on this run as well. So I think what I'm really going to focus on here is the Florabelle strategy. I feel like that is going to be the best. Well, I do want to try one other hero. And that's the hero that I've really grown to love. And that's Reese. Reese has done some surprising damage here. And on top of that, adding Reese into the lineup gives us a 3+2, which means we are getting additional attack here as well. And it might be worthwhile. Let's see what his damage looks like. He's not dealing like true damage, but he has an insane amount of crit and attack buffing. So let's see how this turns out. If he can do some crazy high amount of damage, because again, he is one of the best damage dealers in the game. He is doing physical damage, I believe, versus Odie doing that magic damage. He will help out more with the summons as well. He does have some AoE compared to some of the other heroes, so we can kind of get through these a little bit faster with our team. About the same timing on the third Smokey ultimate as well. See how this goes. I'm kind of hoping Reese is like best in slot, to be honest, even over a Florabelle, just because I'm such a Reese fanboy right now. Sadly, his ultimate didn't line up perfectly with those summons, but we made quick work of them pretty well here. Staying alive. He is kind of like one of the weaker ones, it feels like, so the next ultimate from the Skyclops might kill him. We gotta hope it doesn't, though. We really gotta hope it doesn't. Eee, that was really close. My goodness, he almost went down right there. Holy cow. Same with Ryan here. But it does seem like we're safe. We got 10 seconds. I don't think this is going to be a record. I don't think it's going to be a record. It's close, but not quite there. All these teams, as a positive, are very much within like 2 to 3 percentage points of each other, which is nice to see. So I think we have figured out what the best damage combination is, and right now that is a support Florabelle, which is really weird to say, but it does seem to be one of the best options, even better than throwing the Odie in there. I don't really know of any other heroes we could put in. Maybe like a Temesia. I mean, is it worth trying? Might be worth trying. It could be worth trying. We might as well try it. We got an extra attempt still, so Sure, let's see. We go from one mounted hero to another mounted hero. The bonus here is the physical damage aura bonus from the Temesia. Could be interesting here. I don't know if that's going to play a role, and I don't know how much damage Temesia is going to be able to do in this. She should be able to do some okay AoE damage to the summons as well as she runs through them, also increasing the damage that they're taking. But I just don't know if that's going to be worthwhile or not. It did mean we killed the summons off before Smokey got his ultimate off for the third time. I don't think his ultimate's going to be up for the next wave. No, it already went back to full healing mode. But the AoE with Temesia is surprisingly good. We're at about 20 billion with 35-ish seconds to go. This has a chance to actually work. I feel like Temesia's damage might be better than Florabelle's or something, and she has her own self-healing, which is pretty good. The last wave of these summons that we have to deal with, Temesia running through all of them, making them take more damage. 14 seconds, here we go. Can we get 4 billion damage? Maybe we're gonna be really close. Like really close. Oh, it actually is slightly better. Slightly, but again, that could be due to some combat variance here, which is just interesting. Very, very interesting. It made Merrily do a little bit more damage, so maybe that is the way we got to go. There's one last thing I want to try, and that is Quick Blade spell. I want to see if the physical damage ripping is going to be enough. Maybe Temesia makes a comeback. The nice thing is, as long as you have the Merrily and you have the Corrin, you have the Smokey, and you finally get to your Mythic plus Rhynier eventually, the 5th slot is very flexible. You've seen Florabelle, you've seen Thorin, you've seen Odie was a little weaker, so I won't necessarily say Odie. You have Temesia, which you're already building for Necro Draken. There's a lot of different heroes, heck, even Kruger, that are all within 1 to 2 billion damage, which is pretty nice to see. They're all in the 26 plus type range. I just don't know if this artifact, the Quick Blade spell, is going to be a bonus here, shedding a ton of defense on the boss. 21 with 30 seconds to go. I feel like we're a little bit ahead of where we were last time. We can kill these minions off quickly. Nice thing with Temesia, she hits people and enemies even as she's just running through them. This has a chance. This actually has a chance to be better. Quick Blade. It would be nice for my last attempt to actually be the best record too. Just for the sake of it. Oh, it is. It is. And again, it's just a little bit of a difference, and it could simply be due to variance, but holy cow, that seems to be the team composition right there, putting us up to number 4. So we went from 11th place with a more traditional team all the way up to 4th, just with the changes that we did here today. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys next time.